What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It's your boy, Coach Dee Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals. And man, we are. It's been a while, man. I was just talking to my man to the side of me over here about last time I had a college head coach on. It had been a while, and so I reached out. We've been playing phone tag for a while, man. But I reeled him in. You know what I'm saying? I reeled in my boy here to the side of me over here to talk about Lee University. I was put on to Lee, a friend of mine, a potential prospect with him was telling me about Lee. And I thought I knew about a lot of schools in Tennessee, but I didn't really know too much about Lee after doing research, man. It's got a really good program, great area, and we're going to learn more about it. So I am joined today, by Coach Mark Drew. All right, Coach Drew, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, D. So I appreciate you having me on. My daughter's a diehard Kansas City fan, so at some point in time, I may have to get an autograph from you or something, because she loves it. We actually made a trip out there this summer to end of the summer to see the Cardinals and
Nice.
the Royals play. So I got to see both ballparks. It was awesome trip for my 50th birthday. So
Good deal, man. Good deal. Well, listen, man. Let's talk. I want to figure out how she became a Royals fan. Let me see those ties. So let's talk about Coach Brew. So let's go to the beginning, brother. Like where you from? Coaching career that led you up to where you are now, head coach at Lee University in Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I was raised in Middle Tennessee area, just outside Nashville, Smyrna, Tennessee, to be exact. So,
Yeah, yeah,
kind of a suburb of Nashville now, and so
yeah.
grew
So
up
you seen it
there.
grow over there. Now. You seen it
Yeah,
grow then, huh? Yeah,
so no
yeah.
doubt. So grew up there. Played some high school ball. Got fortunate enough to sign a scholarship to Trevecca Nazarene in Nashville, and so went over there and played for 4 years. Had a tremendous experience, with the college experience, and obviously, kind of the coaching piece for me was I can never, at any point in time when I was growing up through high school and going through that process, I never felt like doing anything but coaching, and so. It was something my major was already ingrained. I was going to do physical education. I was going to coach and teach the high school level, and that was my goal and my plan. And obviously, had moderate success as a college player, but not good enough to be a professional player. So I figured I'd find a way to stay in the game, with the coaching piece. And so coaches always were some of the most influential people in my life. And so that was a big piece of why I chose coaching. And then as I went through my 4 years at Trevecca, I played for high school. I played for Pierre Lyons, who was a former not big leaguer, but he played minor league ball, but just a tremendous high school coach, disciplinarian, kind of taught me the ins and outs of what to do and what not to do, and how to manage young men. And so then I went to college and played for two college coaches, both who are Hall of Famers. Elliot Johnson, won 800, 900 games. Dave Altop, the coach I played for next, same thing, won a multiple amount of games, and both are ABCA Hall of Famers. And so kind of got the itch and stuck on staff there at Trevecca for 3 years. And the head coach, Coach Altop at the time, got the job at Lee. And so part of the process, he begged the president here at Lee, Dr. Paul Kahn at the time, to say, hey, I need an assistant full-time to join and start this program. And so fortunately for me, it was an open door and an invitation to come, and joined him on staff, spent 10 years as assistant coach here at Lee. And in 2006, he announced his retirement. For me, it was an uncertain time because Lee had always done national coaching searches for every coach that they've ever replaced, whether it be basketball, soccer, baseball, anything. And so Coach Altop, again, went to bat for me with our president, and we had great success in the program. And so they felt like at the time the transition to me as the head coach would be the best option. So I'm forever grateful, and I've been here, now going on my 26th year, and just completed my 15th year as the head coach.
Wow. So you've been part of this program pretty much all you've known. You know what I'm saying, from the coaching aspect of it. That's So parents listening in, you talking about stability. You definitely get that with Coach Brew. So
sure.
I want to know more. I know a lot of people may not know about Lee University, where it's located, what division, and so kind of start with that. Where is Lee University located? And what division?
We're in Cleveland, Tennessee. It's 30 miles just outside of Chattanooga, so we're in the southeast corner of the state. I tell people we can drive 30 minutes in pretty much any direction, and I can be in Alabama in 30 to 45 minutes. I can be in Georgia in 30 minutes. I can be in North Carolina in about 45 minutes. So that's where we kind of are geographically in the bottom corner of the state. And so, so hour from Knoxville, a couple hours from Nashville, a couple hours from Atlanta. So it's a good location. For us, we're fortunate, and we kind of sit down here in this corridor where we're a NCAA Division II school, and there's not UTC doesn't have baseball, so there's not a Division I school except up to Nashville and over to Knoxville, and Murfreesboro, obviously with MTSU. So we've kind of got it to our own self down here, and there's other D2 schools in the state, but most of them reside in the middle to western part in Upper East Tennessee. So we kind of by ourselves down here in the corner, and so in my opinion, it's a really good area, good fertile base for us because we can, Georgia is a great producer of baseball talent, and so we're very close to that in proximity. So we get a lot of Georgia kids, obviously state of Tennessee kids too as well. Just a tremendous school. Lee is a school of 5,000 students. It's grown. A lot of people don't realize how big it is until they come here, and so I call it a student-oriented school where, students, there's just activity on campus all the time. And so it's not a commuter school by any means. Majority of our students are boarded up or obviously living in apartments in town. And so, we do have some students who are obviously, from Cleveland, Tennessee, going to school here, but most will be on campus. And so 50-plus college degrees, things the school's known for, the business programs, tremendous business program. Also got to transfer into an MBA too as well there, and pre-med. A lot of people don't know this about our program, but we've turned out two very successful orthopedic surgeons. One of them is our orthopedic surgeon here in town who runs our orthopedics for our university and our baseball programs, a former Flame. And then another is actually the Minnesota Twins team doctor, Chris Camp. And so Chris went to school at Lee and then did his residency at the Mayo Clinic up in Minnesota, and kind of developed a relationship because the at the time team doctor for the Twins was Chris was working underneath him, tutoring underneath him, and went over and spent some time with the Mets and the Knicks and did some things over there. And the guy announced his retirement, and they brought Chris home to Dr. Camp now, I guess it should say. And then he's been the Minnesota Twins team physician for the last 2 years. So good connections for us, and it shows the strength of that pre-med program. It's an 80% acceptance rate into medical school, but we have obviously a variety of degrees. And so, but those are just a couple that are important. So I see somebody popping up asking if we have engineering there. So it's forthcoming, and so it's on the radar. And so we definitely will be adding engineering very soon. Nursing, though, is probably our most recent major, and that's been a tremendous upgrade into the female population. Obviously, a lot of more female students crossing on the campus, so they're trying to grab engineering to kind of balance it out, even though I know females gravitate to the engineering field too as well. So.
All right. Kevin and Amber says, I know some colleges have host families for the players that are far from home. Does your school offer that?
We don't do host families. We have on-campus residence halls and apartment complexes, and that's the way we manage our campus arrangements and things like that. So, obviously in the summer baseball setting, a lot of our guys go out and play in multiple leagues, and that definitely is very prevalent then at that point in time for them, and there are different cities they're playing at with host families. So
I've never heard that for college.
Yep.
Is that common to have host families for college students?
I don't think it's as prevalent in semester, like fall, spring, but I would imagine summer, sometimes there's some ability for students to stay around town and connect with people and things like that. And then, like I said, when our guys go off campus and go out to play college baseball in the summer, they get that opportunity to stay, with those families. A lot of those families, I hear guys stay connected with them, the rest of their life. They become part of the family, going there and playing a whole summer and connect with them. So.
BJ says, with only 5,000 students, what's the class sizes typically?
Yeah, I mean, we have a 15-to-1 student to teacher ratio. So even though we have a large student population, we've been able to manage, our class size to allow it to be more of a small feel. So we're a liberal arts school, which means, you have your general education core that everybody takes, and then you major in whatever field you want to major in. So certainly the general ed core can have some larger classes up to 100, 150 sometimes. But when you get into your major field, whether it's business, pre-med, English, math, science, any of those fields that are a part of that, then you'll get the opportunity to probably have that smaller, 10 students in a classroom and things like that, and you get a lot more private, connection and instruction from your professors.
All right. Lonnie says, is Lee a traditional university?
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what's meant by traditional, but, we don't, we're a faith-based institution, so we're affiliated with the Church of God. That's our roots of our university. Traditional as far as being on campus, in-person instruction, yes. We do have a Department of Adult Learning that has online learning program for students that's a little bit more non-traditional, but most of our students we deal with as baseball coach, are directly on campus doing in-campus instruction.
All right. I'm wanting to kind of get into this too, but I'm gonna let Stock and ask this, because if you could just talk, let's just give a broader view and then tone in on Florida. But I didn't realize the location where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good location to be in. But if let's start with Stock's question of, do you recruit in Florida?
Yeah.
And then kind of talk about the recruiting base in general.
Yeah, Stock, we recruit everywhere. If there's a good player, we recruit nationwide. We've had players from Dominican Republic, Japan, Canada, Puerto Rico, so we're not going to limit our doors to the Tennessee or Georgia or the local geographical area, even though probably the majority of our roster makeup does come from that window. But we do a lot of recruiting. We're notorious for getting guys from California, because I think there's states that are excellent producers of baseball, and that's obviously Georgia, Florida, California, Texas are always known as being, great talent hotbeds. And so, for us, we can even go into a state like that, and though there's a lot of marquee players, that are going to go to Power Fives and things like that, there's still enough guys left over that D2s, JUCOs, and people like that can grab very quality players.
Wow, that is Cali, huh? Cali way out to Tennessee. I see you, Coach. All right.
Absolutely.
BJ says, Coach, do you typically recruit a two-way player?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, I'll be honest, to be a two-way player in college, because of the pressure of on the arm mostly of playing two positions. And so if it does happen, typically it revolves around maybe an outfielder pitcher or a first baseman pitcher. But we have had recently a catcher pitcher. We had a shortstop pitch a little bit. But the prototypical situation is to have a guy specialize at one of the two, and that way the development piece. And the NCAA does have restrictions on the amount of hours we can practice with guys. And so, it's almost like being a switch hitter, and my son's a switch hitter. And so you almost got to practice twice as hard as everybody else. And so, they don't give us extra time because you play two positions or because you're a switch hitter. And so we have to do it within that window. So the guys that typically we recruit that are two-way players are extremely athletic. So they show the ability to learn and be able to, connect the dots of the position and things like that without a tremendous amount of effort on our side of making sure that we have to coach them up a lot. So So that's definitely. But hey, if the guy's athletic enough to do both, in my opinion, we're going to use them. So
let me ask you this, Coach. So, speaking of athletic and two-way players, what's a typical? So you're on the recruiting trail, or you're, getting this video sent to you. What's the type of player that like is a Lee University style player?
yeah. I mean, first of all, we would never cookie cutter because there's so many different varieties out there of guys who could come in and help your program. But, kind of a short answer for us is we look more at the intangibles in a player than we look at the tangibles, and then we add those in. The toughness, the competitiveness, the spirit of a guy, the coachability, his actions on the field, athleticism, things like that. Because as a coach that if a guy is athletic, runs well, moves well, his ability to be coached up and taught, are better. And so, those are the type of guys we're looking for. But at the same time, we had a first baseman last year who couldn't run across my office in 5 seconds, but hit 20 home runs. So, it's not something we sit there and say we're going to go this way or this way. We're going to take the best player that we can find that we fits our culture of our university and our program and enhance them. And it's kind of like, you hear a lot of the arguments out there today in regards to launch angle and the new school trains of thought with baseball. And then you've got the old school, don't strike out, be able to play small ball, things like that. We kind of fall in the middle. I see value in both. I don't want my, 5'8", 160-pound second baseman hitting balls, off the top of the batting cage, but I also don't want my first baseman who's 6'4", 220 pounds to be hitting weak ground balls, so we want to take what they do best and enhance it. And so that's kind of why I say, we don't cookie cutter approach guys, and we want to make sure that we allow them to be the best version of themselves on the field. And but if we can find those guys that really have a good competitive spirit, or tough, hard-nosed guys, you hear grinder mentioned out there in the world of baseball, field rats, people like that just love to come to the field. That's what you're looking for first, and then now you hope the ability adds up into a complete player.
All right. BJ, so can you talk a little bit about your baseball facilities?
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very proud of them. We just had a $2.5 million upgrade on our stadium. A tremendous, beautiful place, 400 chairback seats. I will put our facility up against any mid-major below on the Division I level at this point. It's a very nice facility. We're natural grass. We're not turf, but it's a pitcher's ballpark. Our dimensions are 330 down the line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 to center field. And people are like, oh, man, how do you recruit hitters? Well, there's a lot of green grass to put balls on out there, too, as well. So, but we have to recruit some athleticism in the outfield. And so, but we have lights and a beautiful locker room, with 37 custom-made lockers for our guys. And, we just added some nice little additions in with couches and ping pong table and things like that, because we all know the part of your culture is built in that area, where guys come in and they can hang out, and the locker room is sacred. And so, so it's definitely a beautiful facility and something that I'm really proud of. And our school believes in our athletic programs here. And so it's pretty neat that, that they put their money where their mouth is and give us a great facility to work with.
Sounds nice, Coach. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be nosy. I'm gonna go look online. I'm trying to see what
Please do. You'll be impressed. So it's a beautiful place. So
all right. Amber says, what is the graduate rate of your team?
Yeah, that's a great question. And coaches, we always get held accountable on wins and losses. We get held accountable on graduation rates. What I'm proud to say about our team is our last 3 semesters, we've had a 3.23, 3.3, and 3.64 team GPA. All our seniors graduated off last year's team. We had several guys that are grad students too as well, who have graduated. So to put a percentage on it, from the course of my career here, it's 90% plus, in graduation rate. and those 10% are fallen to probably guys that have gotten into professional baseball and then just haven't had that opportunity to go back and complete that degree yet.
So I know I missed this, Coach. We got into talking and recruiting and all the questions that were coming in from the parents, but what conference are you guys playing?
Yeah, Gulf South Conference. We kind of joke it's kind of, they call themselves the SEC of Division II. Obviously we know the SEC in Division I is the premier conference, and there's kind of a feel that we have that level of conference. Geographically, we fit that footprint because we have schools in the state of Tennessee, we have schools in Georgia, we have schools in Alabama, Mississippi, and into the panhandle of Florida. So it's a pretty wide range conference, and so geographically it fits that footprint, but competitively it fits that footprint. You've got some traditional powers in our conference, such as West Florida and Delta State, who are tremendous programs on the Division II level on a year in and year out basis. And for us, we won our conference last year, for the first time since we've made a transition from NAI to Division II. And so it's an exciting year for us. And went 36-11, qualified for the NCAA regional and finished third there. And so it was a great year for us. And so the programs had great success, on the success on the field side. And something we're really proud about in the program is we've produced, in my time as a head coach, 30 plus guys that have gone on to play minor league baseball, and 2 guys that have actually cracked the big leagues. So that's pretty cool in a 15-year window, of head coaching. And so very proud of those guys and proud of our staff who, we feel like our strength staff, our coaching staff do a tremendous job in giving these guys a great chance to develop here and continue to improve. We just had a 7th rounder this past year. Logan Workman's pitching in the Rays organization now. And so it's a great school, a great program, but as any program, we're trying to do more. We're trying to continue to get better.
So you're saying, Coach, at a Division II school, you're getting guys into the pros and even have some big leaguers. So you're not a D1 program, but you're still getting kids signed professionally and had a couple big leaguers, right?
100%. It's the number one myth out there that kids got to go play at that level to get that opportunity. It's just not true. Pro scouts do a great job. Their job is to find players. They're very wary or very, connected with coaching staffs across their region and that they cover. And, they kind of get a feel for where guys are, and so they come, we do a scout day every fall. It's kind of their first window to get a look at our guys. And so, our guys get an opportunity over a course of a whole day to showcase the tools they have. And, so usually they're marking guys down and then they follow up through the spring. And so yeah, it's good. And I love it. I tell guys all the time, because we talked about the recruiting piece from those states of California and Texas and Georgia and Florida, which are big pro producer states. And a lot of the guys we've had get into pro baseball have come from those states. But I tell guys all the time, when you go to a school in Florida and you stay in Florida, and that's fine. There's lots of great programs in Florida, but you become you're kind of a smaller fish in a bigger pond. You come to the state of Tennessee, where obviously you got Vanderbilt, which is a great producer of talent, but it's not as big a state to cover for a professional scout, from a perspective of schools. And so you kind of become a little bit bigger fish in a smaller pond. And so you get a little bit more recognition, a little bit more opportunity to be seen. And so that's why I think that corridor we can recruit in and those type of things, and where we're located at, right along the I-75 corridor, runs from the north down to Florida. And so, it's an easy drive from Orlando to here to all the way up to into, the Midwest. So, it's definitely a good place, and we get a lot of connections through that direction.
Yeah, I didn't realize the conference you play in, and I know that from the Memphis side down in the Mississippi. So I didn't realize that is a hell of a conference between the Delta states and the West Florida. That's some big time programs down there.
No question.
So congratulations for winning it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'm learning something new right now. See, I had a feeling, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So that's why we're talking, right?
That's right. All right. So. Lynn says, any upcoming showcases?
Yeah, absolutely. October 30th and 31st, we host our fall prospect camp. It's available for uncommitted 2022 through 2025 grads. And, what we do unique about our showcase circuit is maybe a little bit different than maybe other programs do, where they have a showcase for themselves. We bring in 12 to 15 college coaches from different programs, through the Southeast and different levels, Division 1, 2, and 3, JUCO, NAI. So the idea is, over the weekend when we have these 125 to 150 players there, they get a chance to showcase in front of all these coaches, and hopefully one of those levels or one of those coaches from one of those universities, is attracted to you. And so, it's been a great producer for us of talent and guys. And so, it's something that we love doing, and it's a big part of our recruiting base and things like that, especially on the freshman side. A lot of schools our side, and we're fortunate. We have a good recruiting budget. We're able to get out. We're able to go recruit off campus. But when we can grab, 150 student athletes and bring them to our campus and show them the campus, show them the facility, do a workout, coach them a little bit, connect with them, it's a great opportunity for us to stay in-house with that recruiting and get more of the students that may have more direct interest in us. And so then us trying to go out and coerce their interest into us. And so it's definitely a good thing. So I'd encourage everybody, that's looking for opportunity, October 30th, 31st. We have a website, leaflamesbaseballcamps.com, that you can go to and gain more information. And so it's a good weekend of baseball.
You say it one more time,
leaflamesbaseballcamps.com. So just Lee and then Flames, that's our mascot, and baseballcamps.com. And so we have a website, has some graphics. Awesome. Yeah, that's it right there. So it's just a great opportunity for them and there's a little bit more of information on the program on there on the website, and how you can register and those type of things. And so got a few of our pro guys up there on the graphics and things like that. So it's a good situation.
Good deal, man. October 30th and 31st, parents that's listening in, I know for a fact that I will, kids that is part of my program, I'm going to get them up there, Coach, between the Georgia, Tennessee
awesome.
Kids. Definitely look forward for, I know that's one of the main reasons I wanted to connect with you.
Sure.
Camps, facilities, cost of schools. All right. What are, is it a difference between in and out of state cost, to come? What are the costs that go to lead?
Absolutely. Since we're a private institution, we don't have in-state or out-of-state tuition. It's the same price for everybody. So our tuition price is $19,800. We have block tuition, which is 12 to 16 hours, is the same price for every student. So it doesn't cost more to take more classes. And so it encourages guys to graduate on time and things like that. Total cost of attendance, if you're adding in the room and board and the books and things like that, is right at $29,000. So it's definitely we're the cheapest private school in the southeastern United States. Most private institutions are going to be 35 plus, on that window. And so the school's fighting hard in a tough economic time for everybody to keep our price points, as manageable as possible for everybody. And so, that's definitely something they're doing a good job of. It's definitely something I think has helped increase our enrollment and through the pandemic here, which has been, tough for a lot of schools that are small. And we've been able to, as our president announced, not so long ago when we had a meeting, we didn't lay off one person during the pandemic. We didn't have, one issue in regards to staffing and things like that. Whereas a lot of universities are having to furlough employees, in particular coaching staffs. And so that we're in a good economic position. The school does a great job on the financial health. The bricks and mortars of the university is really nice. It's a modern campus, but they don't owe debt to anybody. They've been able to manage it through incoming student fees or incoming donations through people they reach out to as far as that goes. So it helps us when we get in moments like that where life is tough and there's a crunch on everybody, and that we don't have to jack the price up to offset that. So.
Okay. BJ says, Coach, are there any work programs for students who would need to help supplement tuition extra?
Yeah, pretty much every university has some type of work study through an employment office. There's two different types. There's federal work study, which is if you fill out the FAFSA forms that you have to usually go to school to get Pell Grant, to get loans, things like that. If you're at need, they'll provide you a job and pay you X amount of thousands of dollars a semester to do a job on campus. And then there's institutional work study, which is a little bit more. You have to do the research. You have to go out and find the job on campus and things like that. And so, but yeah, there's definitely availability and opportunity to do that. The biggest obstacle for athletes is getting a job that fits schedules. Fits your academic schedule, fits your practice schedule. But they're out there. You just have to do the research and you have to work, to find those opportunities.
Okay. Amber says, how many guys do you put on a roster typically?
Yeah, good question. Because a lot of schools our size will run large rosters. They'll run JV, they'll run freshman teams. Fortunately for us, we're strictly a varsity roster. Between 36 and 40 is our typical roster size in a given year. We're at 39 this year. So that's a comfortable level for us. It allows us to have depth. It allows us to have quality practices and inter squads and scrimmages between each other and things like that. And so where we don't have to, put a pitcher out in right field to cover a spot or something like that. We're pretty much too deep at every position. And, so you got ability to run head to head and play lots of fall games against each other.
Now somebody, two questions, Coach. Are you guys, allotted the full 9 scholarships in Division II?
Yes, we're fully funded and 9 scholarships, and our school has some great academic packages that we can stack onto that too as well, and so that are exemptable aid by the NCAA rules. And so, yeah, if a student's a high achieving, great baseball player, they got a chance to grab a great package, to go to school for sure.
And how often, I know Division II is kind of open. How often, or do you do it at all, or do you just do the showcase camps? But how often do you, let's just say you got a kid that you may like that at your camp that came to your showcase and you want him to come back? Do you allow him to kind of work out with, the team, or have you done that? Or is that something that you do?
Yeah, NCAA rules are a little bit more prohibitive on rules in regards to workouts. Now, there are some ability to do it, but it's a paper trail nightmare sometimes with physicals and things like that. So we try to do things through camp, and we try to go out and see guys. Obviously, we're very conveniently located to Lake Point Complex in Emerson, Georgia. They do a tremendous amount of tournaments there. So we're able to, when we see a kid at camp we like, usually there's a good chance he's rolling through that facility not so long after that. So we can follow up and see him play again. But we have done some workouts. There are some opportunities, and we have been able to do that and manage that. I just know the rule says when you're in season, like if you're a high school student athlete and your season starts in the spring, we can't touch you on a workout until you're done. Same thing on a junior college athlete. So all that has to happen usually in the fall or over the course of the summer, as far as that goes. And so, but obviously we do a tremendous amount of visits, where once we see guys and we have interest and we want to bring them to campus and walk them around and connect with them and their families. And, we have unofficial and official visits just like any other university might. And so it gives us an opportunity to bring them back at a more personal level, to talk to them and talk to their families about our plan with them. And, obviously talk about financial obligations and things like that and what we can do in those areas as far as that goes. So a great chance to show our campus in a little bit more detail, in our facility in a little bit more detail, and just spend a little bit more private time with the athlete. Once we've determined he can play for us and he can help us, that's usually the next step.
All right. What when somebody comes in for unofficial as opposed to official visits, do you typically wait for their like the 2022s? Do you give them their window of during the fall time to do official visits, or how do you what type of time frame or months do you, or can somebody at any time do an unofficial?
Yeah, you can unofficial pretty much anytime you want to. There's only a couple times in a year that we're in a dead period as an NCAA Division II institution, and we're not allowed to do on-campus recruiting or talking or visits. So we're pretty wide open from that side. You have, as a student athlete, you have unlimited unofficial visits to any university. Now, the official visits is where they mount up, as far as that goes. And so we try to do our official visits. We try to save them, not always, but in a typical year, say if we're signing our 2022 class right now, most of those guys will come on an unofficial visit. We'll meet with them and their families, because the only really difference in an unofficial and an official visit is maybe the amount of hotel room you can provide them, or transportation, or things like that. So if we're recruiting somebody in a local window, they can jump over to campus. It doesn't cost us anything but a lunch. We can meet with them. And then we bring all our, what would be our commitments, guys who commit to Lee, back in the fall and in November, and we do an official visit weekend where we know they're coming to school. They've pretty much signed with us, and so they come back, and we're able to bring all our freshman class in. They're able to connect over a weekend. Their families are able to connect over a weekend, and so it allows them the opportunity to start to figure out who's going to be roommates with each other, those type of things. And then this it's pretty unique about college sports is, when you come in a freshman class, those are your guys. You guys you're going to live with for 4 years. You're going to be in the same graduation class with those guys, and so it's a special bond in each individual class. And so we try to help expedite and develop that and get that bond created between those guys, because they'll be best friends and best buddies for 4 years, and or at least you hope they will. And so so it gives them the opportunity to kind of get a jump start on that and kind of see where they're going to live and those type of things.
Okay. Do you typically see freshmen on the field?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm a college coach, and I want the best guys out there, regardless of class. And you can't have a competitive program and stymie a freshman who may be ready to go. And so we have 3 freshmen last year that started for us. And, and that was in a pandemic year where we had a lot of guys back, with COVID seniors and guys who had been granted a year back from NCAA. And so, it's always a competitive environment. We try to talk to guys about competition versus rivalry. It's a competition on the field. It's not a rivalry between you and your roommate or you and your position mate. Each one of you are competing should make the other better. And so at the end of the day, you hope both of you enhance and develop and improve, to a level. And so the goal, obviously, you try not to be class heavy in one position, meaning like all freshmen or all, upperclassmen. You try to stagger it. So if you got 2 third basemen, you hope one's a freshman, one's a junior. And so the idea is one has a chance to grow up behind him. But if the freshman's better than the junior, we've got to look at the seriousness of playing him more. And so that's definitely something we will do. I think any coach would say that. I'd be surprised if coaches would not say they would be open to playing freshmen.
All right. Zachary says, how does he feel about 2-sport athletes?
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier, in my opinion, because I think when you play multiple sports in high school, and I don't know if the question is about 2 sports at the collegiate level or just people that played 2 sports, maybe coming to the college level, but my experience has been if a guy plays baseball and football, baseball and basketball in high school, baseball and track, those type of things, that usually they're more athletic. Their transfer of learning from the skills that you're trying to teach are higher, and so you're able to expedite them, and they're usually able to get better quicker. And I also think there's something to be said for low mileage and low usage. And so when a guy specializes and plays baseball all the time, and all he does is throw, and all he does is hit, I think there's some fatigue of that gets set in, whether it's injury potential fatigue, or it's the fatigue of just simply the grind of doing it every day. I think where you freshen it up, and you play in multiple sports, really helps the guys a lot stay fresher and stay a little bit more energetic when they get out there. And then I also see those guys really take off, development wise, because they haven't been playing baseball every day like everybody else has, and then all of a sudden now they are at the collegiate level, and they're all of a sudden really taking off. So,
all right. Do you have a benchmark number for your metrics in regarding to pitching?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to the cookie cutter. It's left-handed versus right-handed on the mound. So the left-handers get a little bit more slack. I guess cut on the velo side, and but we have a Rapsodo, and it allows us to identify where guys need to be pitching in the zone. We all know high spin rates. You can pitch pretty much anywhere in the zone you want to, with success. Low spin rate, you better be down in the zone, or you're going to get killed. And so that tool allows us to develop what those guys are. So, so to say somebody needs to throw 87 or somebody needs to throw 84 or they need to throw 90, to me is not the question we should ask. It's the question on what it looks like to the hitter, the deception, those type of things. Because we all know, Greg Maddux never blew the radar gun away, but he was an extremely successful professional pitcher, by all metrics. And so, but if you put him on every metric in the book, he would probably know where he needed to pitch. And he did that with excellence. And that was before he knew he needed to pitch down in the zone, but at the same time, yeah, you want the guys to, velocity is important. If you can't, I guess, strike throwing is important, but if you can't throw it with any effort and in any velo, you're going to get beat around. And so secondary stuff is probably more important than ever now for guys, because most hitters are gearing up to hit fastball. They're really focusing on hack attack hitting and stressful velocity hitting, where they're able to, even Logan Workman last year, the guy we had was, he's 94 to 97. And so, but we would go in a game and you could tell like just their stride, they were ready for 94 to 97. And so when all of a sudden you throw slider first pitch, change up second pitch of the game, and you could see the total mindset in the other dugout change, like, oh, we weren't expecting that, and so now all of a sudden they got to cover three pitches and he throws 94 to 97, so it changed the game for him. Whereas if he'd just gone out there and try to blow people away, which he's capable of doing, it might not have been the dominant performances that he put together. So there's no quick answer to the metric side, but at the same time we would love to have guys with high spin rates all the time, but we have guys all over the spectrum on that.
All right. KT says, what's the best way to get a coach's attention? Email, phone, showcases, paid showcase workouts at the school?
Yeah, it's a good question, really good question, and a thoughtful question too, because it's probably the number one thing that student athletes need to be thinking about. How do I get in front of coaches that I'm interested in? The first piece of that is, I think, an email or some type of ability, to get to the coach with a small video clip. YouTube's awesome now, where you can create a YouTube channel, you can download video, you can download things like that, and you can create just a little area, that you can send out a link to coaches and with some personal information, and in particular academic information. Don't dismiss that. Coaches, a lot of times when we're looking for fits, and let's call it like we see it, baseball's a partial scholarship sport. It's not a full scholarship sport. So we're looking for guys who can piece it together through academics and baseball and things like that. So that piece of it's important, from that perspective. But that small video clip, not a 20-minute. Nobody's going to sit down for 20 minutes and watch it. 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Some fielding, some throwing, some hitting. If you're a pitcher, your stuff, your whole things like that. Some in-game, maybe bullpens, but something quick, and then follow up about opportunity for camps, and showcases as she's mentioning there. It's coaches, again, in our position, as I mentioned, we're fortunate we can go off campus and we have money to go recruit at places, but it's when there's one player at one site and that's the only person we can see during that game, it's not beneficial for our time and our commitment of our resources, but when you go to an event that has multiple people, no more coaches are going to show up. And so that's why the camp circuit is good, from that side. And so, and kind of back to the, what are some other things to include in that video? If your son is lifting weights and he can physically do it, throw a couple clips in there. I mean, coaches love that stuff. They eat it up, that a guy values the physicality side and can really get after it in the weight room and can show that he's doing a trap bar deadlift of 200 kilos or whatever. And so, those are things that, kind of show some things that are going to be things that athlete's going to be going through when he gets to campus.
All right, good deal. Jeff says Twitter a good platform.
Depends on what for. Obviously, we get added a lot, on our Twitter profile, from guys wanting us to look at their video, and I have zero problem with that. Some coaches don't like it. Some coaches don't want you atting their account to see things as far as that goes. But hey, it's changed the world in my opinion, and I think it's changed it for the better on the student athlete side because they have more ways to get their information out. They have more ways to get it out. I know Flat Ground app and these apps that are using Twitter, if you tag them, they'll send it out. And, so yeah, I mean, I'm for getting your name out there any way you can and getting your opportunity out there any way you can. Let's call, opportunities in right now in a, what I would consider a larger roster, makeup because of the pandemic and the backup of the years being given back by the NCAA for us in particular, it's created a little bit more complex recruiting model. And so for students to be able to, get it out there in front of multiple coaches right away, is a win in my opinion, so for them, just to at least gain some traction and gain some interest.
Facts. All right. Yep. Don't be afraid to wake up at 5 and get your swole on while everybody else is sleeping.
Right on, because there's a good chance you're going to be doing that at the college level. So, there's going to be some early morning workouts. It's just the way it works with the academic schedule.
All right. So, Coach D, we got camps, we got course, we have facilities, we have location. Talking about recruiting base. So we hitting all the main points. What I like to do before, I know you gotta head out, Coach. I know you, and I appreciate you, coming on, and I know you got, things, and I'm gonna let you get up out of here. I gotta, I always have my guests before they head out leave us with a great word. Also, if it's cool, I want to leave my email for the parents that may want to send video, a tag, or their YouTube link. Is that cool, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So let me give you that email first.
Is it the Brew at leeuniversity.edu?
Yeah, Brew at leeuniversity.edu. It's a good way to contact. Obviously, one of the things we'll always do to your email is we'll respond with a couple generic things with the camp link, and then with we have a database link too as well, so we can gain more information, on the player. And so there's places to drop video, there's places to do different things from that side. So, but yeah, I guess in closing, I mean, hey, we feel like we got a great program and a great university. It's a great school, and there's lots of things out there. My best advice to any young man who's looking, is to work hard on the fit piece. And I tell our guys all the time, if you take the baseball piece away, what does school look like for you? What does the university look like for you? If it's somewhere you don't see yourself going, don't go, because you're going for just one reason and one reason alone, and that's baseball. And so to me, that's a bad reason just to go to school. It's a part of it, and it's an important part of it, but you want to make sure that the the coaching staff meets your needs and connects with you in a way that you feel like will coach you the way you need to be coached. That the university is going to provide a great academic experience for you and has selling power in that degree, because that degree is $1 million earning power over the course of a lifetime. So it's an important piece of paper. You don't want to dismiss it. And then the final piece is, I think the culture of the program, getting there, maybe meeting some players, getting them off to the side, asking some questions, things like that. And when you're on a visit or those type of things. And a lot of times you can get the real truth, about what's going on at the university. And so, that helps. And, but don't sell yourself short. Get out there early, as players and don't be, if you're locked into, kind of one thing, then you can be disappointed, because obviously coaches, we may be recruiting 3, 4, maybe 10 players, depending on the year. And so by, opening doors and looking at multiple opportunities and multiple schools that fit what you want to do, it allows you that opportunity. And then go see them, go get on that campus and see if it fits what you're looking for. So.
Good deal, Coach. Man, I appreciate it. So before you go, parents, I want you guys to, send the links. Here's the email again. I want you on, and within the last 2+ weeks, because I haven't been on a lot in the last 2 weeks, but I've had multiple parents come back and talk to me about this past little over a year since COVID, about the simple emails that I leave for the coaches, how many times that it leads to some form of relationship. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the coach likes what he sees. So that's what I do it for. I just had a parent yesterday tell me they went way back to one of the old interviews. My point being that, use this, use this platform that I provide for you guys, parents-wise, to reach out, to Coach Brew. All right. Send your links to him email-wise. Who knows? I've known for a fact at least a handful of kids from this past year, who reached out to a coach, and the initial form of communication started from this show. Okay, so saying that, who knows? I would love for the next crop of players to say, "Hey, Coach, because of your show, I reached out to Coach Brew, and we developed a relationship. Send him a film here and there, and I'm, 5, 4, 3, 2 months from now, you got an opportunity to potentially play at a school." All right, so you just never know. So I say that to say, this is what I do it for. Here's this email. If you're a quality player and you want your, information to be seen by Coach Brew and his staff, by all means, that's what I do it for. All right. So, Coach Brew, I appreciate you, my brother. I know you got a lot going on. I'm gonna get you up out of here. Thank you. And parents, I will be on Monday. All right. So you guys have a great weekend. Be safe, Coach Brew. I appreciate you, brother. I will be in contact. Okay?
Thanks, Dee. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Yep. All right, parents. I'll see you guys Monday at 4. All right. See you.